Hey, so here we are about to start our journey on solving the labs from Tyler Ramsbey's Introduction to AWS Pentesting course. And this is actually the first lab which we are going to solve, which is for IAM enumeration. And this is the lab setup and introduction. And it's a lab from Cybr platform for IAM enumeration with the AWS CLI. Now this is here the challenge of the lab is to use PACU to automate enumeration, and to do that we first have to see how we would do it manually using this lab from Cybr. I have this open here, and you can see we get a time limit of 60 minutes. We can start this lab because it takes a while to get started, and here we here we get the access key, the secret, and the username. The access key is kind of like a password to get to the AWS environment, and secret is the password, and username is the user which we start with in the environment. And I won't show you the cheat sheet because Tyler has it in his course, so you'd have to buy this course to get it. But still, we would move to the challenge lab and see what the challenge is. So our challenge is to use PACU to automate enumeration, and the question is, why would you do that? Why would you use PACU? So the lab is for how to enumerate AWS IAM, including users, groups, roles, and permissions. And this we can do through the AWS CLI. So the question really is, why would you use PACU, and why would we automate it? Because if we automate it, we basically save a bunch of time, and it's pretty much easier if you do it using PACU, because AWS CLI has some complex commands which we have to remember, and it has inline user policies, inline group policies, manage policies, and it's for everything for users, groups, and roles, and it's a mouthful to remember. So we would want to automate it, and PACU really shines here because it is kind of like Metasploit for cloud, and you get these modules and everything which I can show you. So if we do PACU, and you would have to install these things, you can just do temp and then ls to list all the modules and stuff. So if we scroll up and see what it gives us, so here we did ls, and we get categories for lateral movement, recon and north, persistence, and enumeration, and these are all the modules which we can run to get what we want. Also PACU has this info for all the PACU commands and what it does. So ls lists all the modules, and whatever you can just type help and get the same info that we got right here. And I will have the links for installing PACU and whatever we might need for the labs in this whole playlist which I'm going to have, but starting with this lab. So to really get behind why we would need to use PACU, we can first try to do it manually, and to do this manually, as we got our access key, the secret, and the username, we would go to the terminal and just configure our first profile. So the command is AWS configure profile L1, and I like to do it this way using L1, L2, and L11. That's because I like to make this as the level 1, so the level 1 user that we have access to, and then if we move laterally, that's L11, so that's a lateral movement, and if we move vertically, we upgrade this to L2. So that's how. Yeah, let's just get this started. The access key which it asks here, the AWS access key ID, you can just paste this here, the secret, and the region name, which is US East 1 by default, and then the output format would be JSON. to view everything that we are going to enumerate. So that being said, we have a username here, and you we didn't get any field to put it into, but Joel is our user, and we can check that later on. But let me first show you how we can authenticate that we got into profile L1. So if we do AWS STS get caller identity for profile L1, you can see the user ID, which is different than the access key because this is a user and not a profile. So we get the account ID and the ARN, and we can see here we are the user Joel. So we are the user Joel, but this is the whole username. Introduction to AWS IAM Enumeration, and this whole string, and then the user Joel. But we can see we are a user as it says right here. So after that, what we would do, firstly, I would like to add this into our notes. So we created a profile. So we created a profile and we enumerated it. I would like to have notes. So this I set up, I use Notion, and you can do it too. So setting up profile, you can paste everything actually in a code block. Okay, and then we just format this if it allows us to. I don't think it will because we have these things here. Okay, we can do it manually as well, or I mean I won't do it that to it, just I'll do it later. Okay, so profile L1 we got in. So this is basically to verify that we got access to this profile, and then we enumerate users. So if we go to here and then have another heading to enumerate users, so we'll be enumerating users, and AWS IAM is what we are going to use because it's the identity and access management service that AWS has, which will allow us to list the users. So list users is the command that we use. We would have to give it a profile before because we don't have a default profile set. Okay, so we get the users, and these are the users. You see the username here, it's a long string, and then the actual username. So we have a Chris user, we have a Joel user, we have Mary, and we have Mike. These are the 4 users that we have. If we scroll down, yeah, that's the end. So these are the 4 users that we have, and we can paste them in our notes. Enumerated users into a code block. Take go, and after this let me just enumerate the user policies. So the enumerated user policies, we would have another code block, and we can do AWS IAM list user policies, and we would have to let's just press enter to see what we would have to provide, and it requires argument, following argument which is username. So we just copy this press the button and provide it a username. So the username we have is we are primarily authenticated as the Joel user, as we can see right here. Go to this, we are authenticated as the Joel user. So if we just grab this username from here, just copy this and paste it here. Hopefully we would get this. Also you would have to give this profile, since we don't have a default set. So we have policies, allow enumerate roles. So that's the policy that our user has, but this is just an inline policy. This is still useful. We would have it here in the notes that our user has these policies. Okay, that's cool. And user policies, let's do inline policies, and then we would do here attach policies. So for the attached policies, what we would have to do is AWS IAM list attached user policies, and you can get the pattern here whenever you use list. So whenever we use list, we do s at the end, so as in plural. So we would have to list multiple things, so that's why it's plural. If we would do get, it would be singular. So if I did get attach user policy, that would be just one policy, and then we would have to specify a policy name, but we can do it later. First of all, we can give this profile of L1, because we don't have a default profile right now, and then a username of Joel, which we have right here. Copy and paste. Okay, so we don't have any managed user policies. What we can manage or attach user policies. So for that, what we can do is we can just say no policy by deleting this code block. No attached user policies found. Okay, so that's, we enumerated the users, we enumerated the user policies. Next would be groups. So AWS still inside IAM and list groups for profile L1. Okay, so we have an array of groups in which we have group names, two group names. So we have developers and we have infrastructure. So we can have another thing here, naming and enumerating groups. So by enumerating groups, we can have enumerated groups. In a code block, we can paste this whole thing. Okay, so these are the groups, and then enumerate heading, enumerated group policies. So for the group policies, we can do again, inline policies and attach policies. Okay, so here we can have two code blocks. Code blocks is three backticks. Okay, so these are the group policies. Okay, these are the groups. We added two enumerate policies, so that would be AWS IAM list group policies. Okay, and you can give it a profile and see what other arguments it expects. Oh, sorry, I forgot to give it an argument. Okay, so it expects a group name, so we can just copy this and we can provide it a group name which we have right here. Let's first enumerate this group, the developers group, and the group name is just this. This just tells us the ID. It's from the IAM service of AWS, and the string is ARN. This is a group, so just copy this and paste it here for listing the group policies. So this is the group policy. Inline policies, list group policies for this group. Inline policies, we can have developers, okay, so developer policies, developers group policies, which are these. Just format these, okay, and then here, not here, what was the other group? We must have it here in our nodes. If we do this, the other group was infrastructure. You can just copy this to see if we have, if the infrastructure group has any attached policies, and it does. Okay, so we can have this as well, and infrastructure group policy, here we have the code block, and okay, this is it. I don't know why there are spaces between here. There shouldn't be, but there are. Just clear this up a bit. Okay, so we have two attached group policies. Wait, not attached. Those aren't attached. Those are inline group policies. And let's enumerate the attached group policies. So that would be AWS IAM list attached group policies, and I would assume it needs a profile still and the group name maybe. So group name, it's still there. Did we have it? Oh, we don't have it copied. Okay, let's just copy the group name then. Oh, this is a policy name. The group name, infrastructure. Okay, copy this, paste it here. Okay, this is interesting. And then for the developers, this would be it. The group name for the developers. Oh, no attached policies for developers, so we can do this for developers. Let's copy this, have it here. Oops. So node has group policies, and then for what is this infrastructure group policies, we can do this, just copy and paste, copy and paste. Do this just to clean it up a bit. Okay, so that's it. We have enumerated the groups and the inline and attached group policies. Then we would have to do this for roles. So AWS IAM list roles for profile L1. As we do that, I think we have too many roles here. Uh, this breaks the console. Let's just press Q to get out of it. Let's try list attach roles. Oh, sorry, role policies list. Maybe first two inline role policies. Okay, we need the role name for that. That would also be too many roles because AWS normally has like many roles, as you can see here, and it doesn't give us the number, but there are too many. So what we can do is can check attach role policies, or at least try to check attach role policies. We still need the role name. Okay, so I just know that the roles would be too much to get manually, so that's where PACU comes in. That's why we had a challenge from Tyler Ramsbey to automate everything using PACU, and to actually want to do something on your own and like spend the time to set it up and have it ready. You would need to ask yourself one question, that why is PACU needed, and this is going to be your answer, because I think we had spent, oh my god, 23 minutes. That's too much time. So we have spent 23 minutes just now of our time on just doing this manually, and let me show you how to do it the PACU way. And we can swap session in PACU and create a new session. We would name it Joel because that's our user, and we would import keys L1 since that's our profile right here. And now what we can do is we can list all of the modules that PACU has, and we can just run one of these modules, and that would give us a result that we want, but we would have to check for permissions first. So what we do, what we normally do, we enumerate, and this lab is about enumerating itself. So just to automate enumeration for users, policies, groups, and roles. So if there is a module there in PACU that helps us do that, let's check that out. Yeah, so we definitely need something regarding IAM. So we can search for IAM here, and where did we search? IAM. I hope we didn't get, okay. We didn't get much. So IAM enum roles and users. This is recon or not, but we are not unauthenticated. We are authenticated. Oh my god. That was a mouthful to say. Okay, so we don't want recon or not. We don't want persist. We want enum. We want to enumerate. So let's see these modules. So brute force permissions, decode access key IDs, enum action query permissions. This one, seems to strike all the boxes that we need to do here. So enumerate users, policies, groups and roles. Users, policies, groups and roles. So this sounds like the perfect one to run. So let's just run this. So running this module, we get 4 users, 20 roles as I just said, because the list would be too long. I don't want to do it manually, and that's why we would need PACU. And it tells us we have 4 users, 20 roles, 0 policies. These are inline policies, and 2 groups. So we got the numbers of everything we needed basically using PACU, but how do we get the actual data? So we need help, we press help, and here let's scroll and see find data service. So this basically does is displays all data for a specified service in this session. So we just ran something. We just ran what was the command? AWS, not AWS, just IAM enum users, roles, policies, and groups, and this is from the service IAM. So if we would want to see the data from that, whatever was run due to that command, we can do data and then the service, which is IAM. We press enter and we see this. You can see like how long this JSON is, right? If I scroll to the top, data IAM, and if we just try to copy this whole thing, my god, it's too much, but it's going to be too much because AWS environments are very complex. Oh my god, it's still too much. So as we approach the end here, you can see it was even too much to scroll to, but we got our users, and these are probably the roles. We have a support role here. Basically this is a custom role because it doesn't have AWS in front of it, and AWS roles themselves are they may be high privilege roles, and that might be helpful if you can assign it to anyone. What's that thing? AWS. Oh yeah, assume role. So if I can assume role of like for a specified user, if we can assume the role, we can have those policies to ourselves, and basically just look through all of this. Whatever feels that it can be useful, we can look into it more and see how it helps us. But this is everything that we got from PACU, and it's way more than we got from all running all these commands, and in much less time. We had 23 minutes, right? Now we are on 29 because I was just yapping, but still this is way faster. We did it in about 5 minutes, and yeah, we have enumerated all the users, policies, groups and roles, and this lab is complete. We can just close this because it doesn't have a proper end. We just have to enumerate everything and that's it. We don't have to elevate privileges or anything for this lab. It's just introduction to AWS IAM enumeration, and that's all we did. So thanks for hanging out.